Greetings and salutations, guys. I just got home from the live Survivor 50 finale on the Paramount lot, and I thought I'd just share my quick thoughts on what happened both on the show, but also being there in person with the audience for that, the winner, and of course, that huge screw up that occurred. So, suffice to say, full spoilers for Survivor 50, including the winner, which is the first thing I want to talk about. So, congratulations to Aubrey. I thought that was a very well earned victory. Look, I do think they telegraphed heavily that she was going to win for several weeks now. It became clear to me that if Cirie wasn't going to win, because certainly there was a huge narrative about Cirie and how this could be her time, if she didn't win, I thought it was going to be Aubrey, just based on how much of Aubrey's backstory we were talking about. That loss to Michelle, it got mentioned several times, how that weighed on Aubrey, what she'd been thinking about all these years, and it just felt like once Cirie was out, this was Aubrey's game. It just that felt like what we were heading towards. But I also think that yeah, she definitely deserved it. Look, I think every Survivor winner deserves it. However they got there, whatever it was about the makeup of the jury and what the jury thought of them, all the alchemy that comes together for a Survivor winner. But I thought that, yeah, I was very happy for Aubrey after all this time. It is a great Survivor story. And I thought she said a lot of great things at her final tribal. I love that she name dropped her original season, Brains, Bronze, and Beauty. Am I getting that order right? I think I am. No, Eric, you did not get that right. It was Brawn versus Brains versus Beauty. To kind of bring that back into focus, by the way, a reminder that they should do Survivor themes again. I know Jeff just did an interview where he said maybe they'll mix in themes again, but it's a reminder of how we can remember seasons way better when they had a theme versus just the number. But yeah, it really did bring it home that she'd played all these times, but it all went back to that first season and her learning all these lessons over the 10 years. So that was great. Seeing it with a live audience was so fun. I've been lucky in the past to go to several Survivor finales when they were doing them every season. Went to a few here in LA, but I actually went to way more in New York. The timing would just work out that way because it was always the kickoff to Upfronts week, and I used to go to New York to cover Upfronts for IGN. So I'd always arrive on Sunday, and the first thing I do is go to the Survivor finale at the Ed Sullivan Theater. They're always a blast. There's something really great about watching Survivor with an audience. It is a great communal feel to it, and you get those other super fans, and they're all hyped up, and we're really cheering, and you just get that energy like you're at a live sports event. And a few weeks ago, I went to a Rob Has a Podcast live show here in LA, and it was the same thing. Just being amongst your people, right? And kind of just feeding off that energy. I really hope they do it again during the final commercial break. Jeff, talking to the audience, was thanking us all, and he said that it was really fun to do a live finale again, and that maybe we'll do it another time. And I'm going to, fingers crossed, because I think a lot of us were thinking this could be it. Maybe this will be the final one ever, based on other things he had been saying. And a lot of people, and I saw it on Twitter, said, well, this is definitely going to be the final one ever because of that screw up. Let's talk about that and how bizarre it was for everyone. And I'm sure watching at home it was. In the room, how strange it was, just kind of the murmur through the room when Jeff brought Rizzo out. And then it was already a strange feeling before he ended up completely giving away that Rizzo was about to lose Final Fire, something we hadn't seen yet, and had him sit down with the jury as though it had actually occurred on the show when it had not. Yes, I'm fascinated to know how this happened. I do not say, how could Jeff do this? Because I'm sure Jeff was bouncing around backstage, was not paying attention to what had been airing, and clearly believed we had just seen Rizzo lose fire. Uh, it seems like, though, it's strange that there weren't better contingencies in place, only because it was so obvious that what we had just seen was they're about to go to fire. How no one realized in the moment, wait, we can't go forward with this segment. Rizzo hasn't actually lost in front of us yet. But it happened. These things do happen, but it was a pretty crazy one. I brought a friend of mine with me to this finale who never been to a Survivor finale, and I was like, well, you're getting to see history here. I thought it was really good that they owned it. We all wondered, oh, are they going to fix it for the West Coast airing? Are they going to reshoot moments even to try to make it work better? And they didn't do any of that. Instead, they kind of leaned into it. They had Jeff come out and joke about it. They had Rizzo come out and joke about it. And I think that was the right call. It happened. It is history now that this was going to be one of the memorable things about this finale was this huge screw up. It's pretty crazy that it happened, but hey, It did. I just mentioned that it felt weird from the start, though, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. We could see them setting up a lot for what was going to be the next segment. So we could see when the entire pre-jury was sitting out there because they had to sit down before the entire segment we were about to watch of the regular show, so that they were already there when they came out of that and went to, Jeff live. So we saw that. We saw them setting up Mike White via satellite. A couple times we didn't because Sarish just walked on stage. And then Tiffany didn't because Tiffany had just been voted out. So, they couldn't have her sitting on stage to telegraph that. In this case, who was sitting on stage for this entire segment that we're watching of the show? The jury. The jury as we knew it at that point. So I thought, okay, this makes sense. The next segment will be Jeff talking to the jury, or maybe it'll be like doing a toast because the pre-jury didn't really get to talk, but they all got their moment. So when they brought Rizzo out instead, I instantly thought that's strange. And then I thought this is really strange because Tiffany just came out because she had just been voted out. So give her this spotlight moment. But Rizzo's about to try to make fire. And I thought the only way this makes sense is if Jonathan is brought out too a second later. And it's the two of them, and Jeff is talking to them live in front of us and to the country about, okay, talk to me about what's going through your mind here. You both have to make fire again. And then he didn't do that. So the whole time I thought this is strange. It feels like Rizzo's about to lose fire, but why would they telegraph that so hard by bringing him out here? And instead, it turns out it was just this mistake where Jeff, for whatever reason, was made to believe that had already aired. But yeah, anyway, that's what was going through my mind. It was very funny, though, because the whole audience, we were having this murmur. He he has Rizzo sit down, and then we realize, what? What? This is like a huge spoiler. I don't know how much you could hear on the live telecast of us in the audience starting to have this big reaction. And I don't even know if Jeff having a, kind of in the moment saying what's going on because he was confused. Why were we having this big reaction? Understandably, because he didn't understand that we were now being spoiled. But it was very funny because then they go to commercial, and of course we're all talking about it. It was a great get to know your neighbors moment because this is how we all started talking to each other more than we had been. Because I instantly looked at Twitter because I was like, wait, I just need to make sure that aired, right? That spoiler wasn't just in the room for us. I think people on the East Coast saw that. I confirmed it immediately. I saw everyone talking about it. Everyone saying, I can't believe that happened. People saying, this is going to be the last live finale. So I did kind of get to be the person in my group, or I should say, where I was sitting, who told everyone sitting around me, yeah, guys, that aired. I got to tell Will Friedle, who was sitting behind me. Him and Ryder Strong were both sitting behind me. So shout out to the Boy Meets World guys who are sitting there and are big Survivor fans, I guess. But yeah, I talked to Will Friedle. I talked to other people around us saying, yeah, that aired. That's insane. And we just sort of saw a strange part of television history and certainly Survivor history. But I do hope that doesn't sour them on doing a live finale again. Look, they were being risky by shaking up the format the way they did and having the current cast speak throughout, which they never done before. And this ended up, blowing up in their face in a pretty massive way. At least it didn't give away the winner, but it gave away someone pretty close to the end there. But I hope they still overall saw that people were really hyped up how fun it is to have Survivor in this live setting and get that reaction and see the love from the fans. The show I think still continues to be great. Did I love every single thing about 50? No. Did I have some issues with some of the twists? Of course I did. But I still think it was a net positive. It was a thrill to have these returning players. It reminded us of why we love them. I think a lot of them, delivered left and right. Certainly Cirie and Rick Devens, I think, are the MVPs of the season just as far as what they brought as returning players who already had huge reputations and proving again what they can do. Cirie, insane that she can still play such a great game, that they will let her, that she is that good, that the Jedi mind tricks she has are that powerful to get her to that far again when everyone knows what a danger she is. And then Rick to once more show that he is just able to, I don't know, just come up with his own magic tricks left and right. And the way that he plays such an amazing game when, he's against the ropes and how he's always got another trick to pull out and gives us so many iconic moments. I thought that they especially really stood out for the fun they brought, but there was a lot of other players I thought who were once more reminding me why I love them or let me see them in a different light. I thought Aubrey's story was really strong and gave a really good winner's story at the end. So yeah, overall, I really dug Survivor 50, even though there were certainly some things along the way that I wish had been done differently. Billie Eilish, Boomerang Idol, yeah, that was a dud. When they're bringing back stuff next season, that preview saying anything could come back. Maybe they'll bring back that one, or if they do bring it back, I think with heavy tweaks. I do predict if they bring that one back, that they will modify it. At least let people play it for someone else. The fact that you couldn't, that sucked. But I didn't think the season sucked. I know people were really kind of down on it. Look, it's on the internet. People will be down on anything. But I overall had a really good time watching this season. I think that, there have been certainly some seasons in the 40s that were not doing it for me as much, but Survivor 50 was a thrill. I'm glad that Jeff has definitely confirmed that they're going to be doing more returnee seasons in the not too distant future, sooner it seems than taking 10 seasons, because I think that's a great idea to mix it up again, like Edge of Extinction. I think put in some returning people. Doesn't have to always be a full all-star season. I think that we've seen a lot of different modifications through the years, and it's time to start doing that again, here and there. So anyway, that was what it was like at the Survivor 50 finale. Had a really great time being back in that environment, and I hope they do it again. Not only because I want to go to one again, but even if I couldn't go, I think it is something that is just a real blast for the audience to be there for. And anything can happen in live TV, including accidentally giving away who is about to be eliminated. All right, guys, if you can like and subscribe, that would be great. And what did you think of the Survivor 50 finale? What did you think of that screw up? What did you think of Aubrey winning, etc., etc.? If you could let me know in the comments, that'd be awesome. All right, take care.